It's Wednesday, March 4th, and welcome to the Day Weather Podcast. Well, we've got good weather to talk about other than the wind, and it is going to be windy today, but we actually do see some days where the wind won't blow too hard, and we're still expecting spring-like weather through Saturday, which is great news. This is going to really help out roads and highways across the region, help us recover from that Sunday storm system, and bring us some relief in the weather, which everybody's ready for. Will it be perfect? No. We've got the wind. We're also going to see across parts of northern Wyoming and southern Montana and western South Dakota today a few rain and snow showers. But once that system goes by, the weather Thursday through Saturday looks really good. Here's the forecast of precipitation in the form of snow between now and Saturday morning. Notice that we have very little in the way of any significant snow anywhere, at least around our neck of the woods. Looks like pretty quiet weather conditions. There's that system, and this right here is basically today and tonight. So we're going to be able to go several days before we see the next weather come in, and here it is, coming out of Idaho, eastern Oregon, eastern Washington, with a front system coming on through. That's going to arrive late Saturday night and Sunday. But until then, boy, the weather is really shaping up to be nice. Here are the forecasted high temperatures for Saturday. Notice along and east of the Front Range. Look at the yellow. Those yellow are areas of temperatures, those yellow and orange colors that are in the 50s and 60s, and we've got some areas that are going to be near or better than 70. I do think there will be some 70-degree temperatures on Saturday east of the Continental Divide. So we've got ourselves some spring-like weather coming up Friday and Saturday in particular. Now, that begins to change. For the third weekend in a row, we've got a storm system arriving on Sunday. Now, this next system isn't going to be as strong as the last system we saw come on in that caused so many problems on Interstate 80, but we will nonetheless, late Saturday night into Sunday morning, we're going to have areas of rain and snow developing in this area here. And by Sunday afternoon, Sunday night into Monday, we're going to have areas of rain and snow developing along the I-80 corridor into areas of northeastern Colorado. Dare I say, here's a sign of spring. In this area right here, Sunday evening and Sunday night, there might be a couple of thunderstorms, a couple of rumbles of thunder. I think there's a real good possibility Sunday evening and Sunday night that could happen. So some of this precipitation will be rain first before it turns over to snow. Now there's a sign of spring. Now yesterday I showed you the things that we have to deal with as weather forecasters this time of year when you have big differences in the computer analysis, which makes it a nightmare to forecast past 4 to 5 days. Well, our weather forecasting nightmare continues. This is the European computer model of the upper level pattern, basically the jet stream areas, for next Friday into next Saturday. Notice we've got a big area of high pressure building in the Gulf of Alaska, and this big trough, actually two troughs. We've got one here and another bigger one here that will want to come cycle on through late next week and next weekend. Now, if the European model is correct, by late next week and next weekend, we may have a formidable storm system in the western high plains and Rockies. However, if we look at the Canadian model, well, there's no such storm of any consequence. It has a big low along the east coast. It's got a little bit of a low hanging back off here in the Pacific Northwest, but look at this. We've got high pressure right over the high plains and Rockies. Same situation we had yesterday. Big storm on the European model. Canadian model has nothing. The American model, well, it's kind of a combination of the two, with the deep low off the west coast, a bit of a storm off the east coast, and westerly Pacific flow, which is mild conditions. So we've got storm here, no storm here, maybe a little bit of a storm system moving in here. So what we said yesterday continues to ring true. Don't believe any forecast in early to mid-March, or really all spring, that goes past 4 to 5 days. Solar update. Here's the latest image of the sun. No sunspots, and this is a very impressive stretch. We've now gone 31 days without any sunspot activity. That's 47 days, or nearly 3/4 of the days so far in 2020 we've had no sunspots. And for those of you that follow solar activity, well, that's important. We are in the solar minimum. We do expect this, but I think we're getting more sunspotless days here in early 2020 than I think a lot of people expected as the solar minimum continues to reach its bottom. The cosmic ray plot shows that our cosmic rays are reaching their peak We're almost at where we were in 2009 and 2010 during the last solar minimum. And again, this is important. Cosmic rays help produce more in the way of clouds across the Earth. Some very convincing and important studies out of CERN show that when solar activity reaches minimums, cloud cover across the globe, especially over the oceans, increases, which does have a cooling effect long term. And we've talked about in an earlier podcast how the ocean basins are cooling off, especially in the Pacific. They're still warm relative to normal, but they're cooling off. So the solar minimum is something we'll keep watching. We're still expecting it to bottom out in April or May, but not a sunspot in sight, at least here for a little bit longer. Thanks for listening and watching to the Day Weather Podcast. See ya on Thursday.